Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is the Dragon Whisperer, and this is my beautiful male albino Thor, and this is the Beginners Reptile Keepers podcast. Right now, we got two watching. Give me a shout out in the comments, you guys. Let me know who's here. Um, Me and Thor are just going to hang out, see how many people we get in the stream, and see if we have any questions. This is the second podcast in a row. Unfortunately, I had a little spell there for a couple weeks where I could not get the podcast going. Repticons in the area, and I got a lot of new animals in to Tar Heel Exotics, some species I've never worked with, so it's taking a lot of time lately taking care of those animals. Boy with Gex, how's it going, buddy? Glad you're here. I know there's a couple other people watching. If you guys give a shout out in the chat. Boy with Gex, I don't know if you have. I'm gonna mention your YouTube channel next video I do, and also Kate's Reptiles. We're gonna talk about her channel, his channel as well. It's in this day and time, I hate to get somebody's pronouns wrong and offend somebody. I believe Kate's Reptiles. She's a sweet little young woman who has some nice little videos, cute videos about her and her reptiles. So we're going to be talking about her on the next YouTube video I do as well. But Thor's being very active Thor's been being very active right now. I haven't been handling as much lately as I normally do, but this is my rock star. This guy right here, I take him to Children's Reptile. Madam Star, glad to see you. Glad you're here. But I take Thor to birthday parties, and I take him a lot of times to the show. And even though he's not for sale, I take him just to let people interact with a big reptile. If there's people who have a fear of snakes or have never held a big snake, Thor's always the one that I have no reservations putting them in anybody's hands. And actually, it was kind of funny at the last birthday party I did. I told the kids that some of the ball pythons are head shy, and they all have great personalities, but just try not to just grab their head and manhandle them up around the head or neck. And I try to tell them that correlate it to it. If you had just met somebody, you wouldn't want them grabbing your head and rubbing it, and you're not even a snake, and that's their only part they really have to protect. So in Thor, there was a cute little girl and a couple of cute little boys that were just they were falling in love with Thor, and they didn't want to. They were passing him around, but every time one of them got him, they didn't want to give him up, and they were just grabbing Thor by the head and moving his face and his head all around, trying to get a better view of his face and his mouth and stuff. And Thor just was like, he did not even care. Like, I was so nervous at one point that he was going to get agitated and start hissing at the kids, but he put up with all of it like a champ. I mean, they really put him through the paces that day, and Thor he was amazing. He's the sweetest dude in the world. I mean, if you're an African soft fur, you may have a different opinion because he never misses a meal, but when it comes to being docile and having a great temperament, this dude he's the bee's knees. He's just such a sweetheart. 3 people watching. Madam Star, Boy with Gex, you guys got any questions? Madam Star, what kind of reptiles you got? Let us know in the chat. I'd love to know what kind of animals you got. I know Boy with Gex has geckos. I forget if you have other species, Boy with Gex, but everybody that's here, list your animals out in the chat. I'd love to know what species you guys keep. If I can think of any hacks or any tricks or any special things about those particular species that you may not know, then I will share that information. But I would really love to know what kind of animals you guys have. I know that the gentleman that I got my Leachon's geckos from said he might try to make the podcast. Hopefully he'll join, or at least maybe catch it at a later date. But we got 3 in here. Let's share it out, guys. Let's get some more people watching. I think we're about 1150 as far as subscribers go on the channel. And Brainstorm Academy, I know that if you don't get to the live stream while it's going, I know you'll watch it later. Aurora is still kind of going through pre-lay behavior, but she still hasn't done her pre-lay shed, so it could still be another 3 or 4 weeks before I see a clutch of eggs, and then obviously months after that before I have any babies. So if you guys want to reach out to me about getting one of my other ball pythons I have, in case people don't know, Brainstorm Academy, they won the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, and they chose to get one of Aurora's albino ball python babies. I know she's gravid. It's just a matter of when she's going to actually lay. But you guys reach out to me, Brainstorm, if you want to get one of my other ball pythons instead of waiting. But I know you guys said you just got a puppy or a dog recently, so you said your hands were pretty full. But like I said, the option is completely up to you guys. But we are going to be doing another 1,500 subscriber giveaway. Haven't decided what we're going to give away for that, but for the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, we did win a ball python. That's what Brainstorm Academy is getting. Either one of Aurora's babies, or she's going to be getting one of the jungle womas, or maybe the double het female I've got. Depends on what they're interested in. But some things I do want to talk about. We've only got a few people watching, but hopefully, usually about 50 to 100 people go back and watch the stream later. So something I really want to talk about is this Lacey Act thing. It's still in the Senate right now. If you guys didn't know, it passed the House a couple weeks ago, I think on February the 4th. And right now it's on the floor of the Senate. I'm not sure if it's in committee or if it's actually in debate or what. I don't know what the legislative process, what step it's at right now. But in case you don't know, this new Lacey Act, it's actually called the American Competes Act, is the big legislative bill. And for people who aren't familiar with the Lacey Act was passed a long time ago, and it basically governs the transport of species in and out of state, and selling animals and shipping them out of state and having them shipped to you from another state. And basically, we have blacklists, and the Lacey Act basically just says, if tegus are banned in Florida, I can't sell somebody in Florida a tegu and ship it to them. It's pretty cut and dry, and it's pretty black and white, and it basically just concerns species that are kind of from state to state or county to county. But we've been able to work around that law, or work with that law, work within the bounds of that law in the pet trade and the pet hobby for a long time. There's there's drawbacks to it. There's states that they can't have animals that's kind of ridiculous, that can't become invasive there. But in the answer there, guys, is not to just own those animals and break the law. The answer there is to change those people that are in those offices at the voting booth, and then work hard to change that legislation. But I'm not encouraging anybody to own animals or do things that are against the law. So anyway, but the new law is like I said, it's called the American Competes Act, is the big legislation, and it has a bunch of stuff about America infrastructure and other things that, it's a huge bill. I don't even pretend to know what the main crux of that bill is, but for the most part, it doesn't have anything to do with reptiles. But buried in the middle of this big, huge bill, like politicians love to do, is information that would change the Lacey Act and the language to it, and how it's interpreted. So if this new bill passes, basically states are going to start coming up with white lists, which is basically, instead of a state having a list of animals you can't own, then the state would have a list of animals you can own. So basically, you aren't able to own anything unless the state or your area says you can. And they're talking about having a process where you would have to prove each species is not injurious, is the wording they use, before it will become on the white list. So potentially, say if some state said, through ignorance, decided, well, bearded dragons could get loose and become invasive in the state, so we're going to ban people from owning bearded dragons. And it's going to make it ridiculously easy for politicians to ban species without really any knowledge or for any good reason. So we've got to fight against this. You guys go to the US Art website. They have lists of your senators. They've already compiled all the addresses for all the senators, the phone numbers, the contact information, the emails, and they've actually even got form emails that talk about how we don't want this legislation passed, and all you have to do is literally copy and paste it, put your name and your email address in the boxes, and send it off. We have got to make our voices be heard. This legislation is going to be ridiculous as far as the impact it's going to have on the pet hobby, the pet trade, people that breed, and this is their livelihood. It's going to destroy their businesses overnight. And we cannot let this legislation pass, guys. We have to act. We have to act. So if you haven't already, hey, Venom Wonderful, glad you're here. 13 Bravo, brother. For people who see that in the chat and don't know, I was in the U.S. military. I served in the United States Army. I was a 13 Bravo. That was my MOS designation, which is a cannoneer or a field artilleryman on a 155 millimeter self-propelled howitzer. USHA, 1st and 19th Delta Battery, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. And Venom Wonderful, also thank you for your service. He served our country, and he was also a 13 Bravo. I met him in this reptile community. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, it's incredible. He has some of the best live feeding videos. He has some hots like pygmy rattlesnake and stuff like that. I think a copperhead, some animals I wish I could own, but I can't where I live. So you guys definitely go check out his channel if you haven't already. But big shout out to you. And it was just crazy when me and Venom met each other that we end up talking about our military background and our military service, and we had the exact same job in the military. And it's just kind of, if you were a 13 Bravo, you'd understand it's kind of rare to meet another 13 Bravo. But that's pretty awesome. Glad you're here, buddy. So 5 people watching. So yeah, you guys, U.S. Art, if you're not a member, please donate, become a member, and please read up on this new legislation that will change the Lacey Act that is in the American Competes Act. It is just ridiculous, guys. Like, it's ridiculous how politicians will put legislation up that they have no knowledge or no real they just don't have a background or really a knowledge base to effectively write or even know what legislation's needed in this industry or this hobby. So unfortunately, something like the spitting cobra that got released in Raleigh, it creates a bunch of hysteria and publicity, and then you got politicians that want to jump on the bandwagon, get themselves on the news, and that's obviously probably what we have going on in this situation. Some politician grandstanding, want to make a stand against reptiles, and obviously his ignorance is going to cost us a lot if we let this legislation go through. Hopefully there's going to be some changes, and this legislation is going to get amended, and this legislation is going to be taken out, but not if we don't make our voices heard. The politicians are not on our side. There's nobody speaking up for us in the reptile hobby but us. So please, you guys, reach out to the U.S. Art website and reach out to your senators. We have to fight this upcoming legislation. Also, if you live in North Carolina, I'm still trying to get the specifics. Intrepid Exotics. He has a great website. The gentleman's name is Tim. A great YouTube channel. And he just posted a brand new video about the recent law changes that have passed here in North Carolina. Coming up here in August, there's going to be some species that are going to be banned. They've changed a lot of the rules about some of the invasive species and how you can collect them or whether you can at all. But one of the big things is the tegu ban. I was afraid when South Carolina did it. I mean, I knew it was going to happen in Florida way before it happened, but I was worried when South Carolina passed it that North Carolina was going to pass it. And now we have a tegu ban in North Carolina. If you own one or have one before then, you're going to be grandfathered in. But after August the 1st in North Carolina, you will not be able to buy, sell, import, or export a tegu into the state of North Carolina. So, which is unfortunate. The tegus could never survive our winters. We had biologists at the meeting and at the open forum speak to the legislatures and give them scientific, hardcore data and facts that tegus would not survive and become an invasive species in North Carolina, but they still went through with the ban, which is utterly ridiculous. So we've got to start electing legislatures that care about this kind of stuff, and we've got to start making our voices heard to the ones that are in office, or the pet trade and the pet hobby is going to be in big trouble. I've got a video on my channel all about this legislation. Look it up and check it out if you guys need some more information about it. And please go check the video out on Intrepid Exotics channel if you want to know about the recent and upcoming bans here in North Carolina. Madam Star, sorry I hadn't seen this before, but yeah, the media made a very big deal. And of course, when the media gets a hold of something and the politicians, then they want to get a hold of it. They're like dogs with bones, and it's so ridiculous. Um, Madam Star, she says she got one coral glow ball python. Oh, that's one of my favorite. I love the coral glow morph. Two berms. I'd love to have a berm, but I wish they would come up with a dwarf species. I just can't have a snake that big. Madam, let's see what else. Two dogs, three cats. One diamondback terrapin. Oh, those are so freaking awesome. And one Indian star tortoise. I want to get me a tortoise soon. I don't have a tortoise, or I've got two aquatic turtles in the tank behind me, but I don't have a tortoise yet. And I really want to add like a tortoise or a box turtle, a terrestrial uh, turtle or tortoise to my collection, for sure. Something I can show here on the channel. I just love tortoises and turtles. Aquatic turtles, I love them too, but they're just so much to maintain. They're just poop machines, and you have to do so many water changes. And I always feel bad that I don't change their water enough. So 5 people watching, share it out, you guys. People that have watched before, if there's any of my animals you guys want me to get out, if you want to see them up close and personal, and anybody that has care questions or questions about an animal they're thinking about getting, hit us up in the chat. Oh, one dog, okay. Yeah, I'm very fortunate that I have Ellie Mae. She's my pit bull blue heeler mix, and she is the sweetest dog in the entire world. She's a cuddle bunny. She has no hyperbone in her body. She loves all the animals. She gets along with the dragons, and she doesn't mind the ball pythons, and it's really amazing that she's such a tolerant dog. And she's a rescue, but she's just not skittish or fearful of any of the animals. She never barks or growls at any of them. It's weird. Thor's kind of tensed up like he's in food mode, and I remembered that was messing with my rat bins and separating out some rats that need to be weaned off from mama, and I'm hoping Thor hasn't picked up that scent. AccuMonitor care tips, no, but I want an AccuMonitor so bad. Like they're fairly expensive right now. I mean, you can find them cheaper, but I mean, if you want. Sorry, maybe you couldn't hear me because I was not facing the camera, but I want an Ackie so bad, and they are one of my favorite species of monitor. But they've gotten, they're fairly expensive. I mean, I'm sure you can find them cheaper, but if you want one from a really good reputable breeder, you're looking at $500 or $600, and at that price, that's just, man, I just can't afford that right now. But I want to have one sooner or later. I will have an AccuMonitor, but I will tell you, Professor Herp. If you've never watched his videos, Adam from Wiccan's Wicked Reptiles. I have the hardest time saying his channel name, but Adam Wickens, his buddy Professor Herb, or at least he talks about him a lot. They're buddies. But his channel is incredible as far as Ackies. He has some of the best videos for. That's who I watched a lot of when I started doing my AccuMonitor research a long time ago. And because I'm probably like a lot of people, when I decide I see a species, and then I go and do like tons of research, and it's like my brain turns into this sponge, and it's like it just wants to absorb every bit of information about that animal. I go on a bunch of forums, and then when I find when I get their locale, then I'll go on to NOAA and a bunch of weather websites and websites that show the weather patterns in those areas, and the average temperatures and the average relative humidities, and I'll go into all that, and then I'll try to find. A lot of times you can even find, if you really dig, you can even find like scientific research papers where they've analyzed like the stomach contents of these animals from out of the wild, because it's really easy to watch a care video or look at a forum or somebody's reptile care sheet on their website, and it'll tell you this animal eats this and this and this. But if you can actually find some scientific studies that showed exactly what those animals had in their stomachs when they passed away. I know I got chewed up on a video earlier on my channel, and it's still there, where I had a Uromastix for a while, and he loved superworms, and so about once every 2 weeks I would give him 4 or 5 superworms, and it was just nuts how excited he come running out of his little burrow to get them. And people are beating me up in the comments when I put that video about how I was going to kill my pyromastics, that they never eat invertebrates, that none of the care guys or none of the reptile sheets say you should feed them invertebrates, and that they don't have the ability to digest invertebrates. And I said, of course, I responded and said, yes, they do eat invertebrates every now and then. They are still opportunistic hunters because they live in very, very rough environments where food is scarce at times. And so then they said, well, where did you get that information? And luckily, I was able to provide the links to the research papers that I found that said that Ackie monitors, or excuse me, pyromastics, when they had found them in the wild dead, and they had biopsied them or autopsied them, whatever you call it, and examined the stomach contents, there was 5 to 7% invertebrate and bug protein and matter in their stomachs. So when it was kind of hard to refute then, because I could provide the actual research papers that show pyromastics are eating a very small percentage of invertebrates in the wild, and probably where they get some of their moisture from, because they can go like a year without drinking. It's I always go super in depth with the research. And when I was doing my research with Ackies, Professor Herp had the best videos on Ackie enclosures, how to tame them, like behavioral cues, diet, enrichment ideas, and ways to interact with them. So Professor Herp, definitely go check out his channel. Anyone near Chicago's upcoming weekend is Tinley Park Show. Yes, and I am actually doing, there is a Repticon in Raleigh, North Carolina this coming weekend on the 19th and 20th, and Tar Heel Exotics, my company, will be there. So we got a good spot. We're like almost right in the freaking middle of the Coliseum, so I'm excited about that. And if anybody's in the area, come out and see us at Tar Heel Exotics at the upcoming show. Anybody got any more questions? We got 4 watching. Share this out. We're probably going to only go for another 10 or 15 minutes if we don't get some more questions or some more people in here. Right now I just want to get this podcast established, and I'm not trying to set any records and go for 45 minutes or an hour or 2 or 3 hours. I mean, it would be great if months or years down the road that's what this turned out to be, where we could sit here and talk about reptiles and reptile questions and care stuff for an hour or 2 and show animals off. But right now I just want to make sure we can get this established as a regular thing, get maybe a core regular audience, and get some people in here that share it out, and really start creating some discussions about reptile care and the hobby and new species that people want to get into. I really get excited when somebody's going to get a species they've never had before, or they just learned about and they have done the research and they're ready to finally get one. Like, to me, that is the most exciting thing. One of the most exciting things about this hobby is getting that dream species, that dream animal. Oh, bearded dragons are rad, but what same size lizards? I mean, pyromastics are great because they never really ever show aggression. They can be skittish, but pyromastics. But I'll tell you what, if I was gonna get a lizard and I wanted to get something that was similar to a bearded dragon, but super rad and maybe a little smaller and a little easier to care for. And I don't know. I've seen both sides of the coin when it comes to handling on this species, so I still can't confirm really how great this species is for handling. But Spider-Man agamas, I have just gotten in a couple. I'm not going to show them off right now because they're getting adjusted. I don't want to stress them out, but I've got some that I'm going to have available at the upcoming Repticon, and I just think they are incredibly visually stunning. They've got cool little personalities. They're active. They're super smart. So go check out Spider-Man agamas, even like butterfly agamas. I mean, those are just super cool. And even like I just got some Texas alligator lizards. They have blue tongues, like a blue tongue skink. They can get up to 20 inches, like a bearded dragon, but most of it is tail. Like a lot of skinks, they've got kind of a, if it's 20 inches long, this much of its body and this much of its tail. So even though they can get up to 20 inches, they're really, the body of the lizard is not really that big. But they are super, super cool. And I'll have to say, I kick myself all the time for getting rid of the ones I had, but I really think they went to a good project, because there's so few people captive breeding this species right now, and I think it's super important that we have more people captive breeding them. So I got rid of my trio breeding group to a lady who is had another 1.4 group. So hopefully she's putting, now she's got a group of 8 or 9 of these, and hopefully this is gonna create a flourishing breeding project for her, and then that's going to pay off for me in the long run when I get some of the babies out of the project. But green tree skinks, emerald tree skinks, I mean, Clint from Clint's Reptiles has probably been their biggest spokesperson, but it blows my mind that more people are not into this species and don't talk about it more on their channels, and that you don't see these more at the reptile shows and more readily available. I mean, every place that does have them, they'll get 3 or 4 in, and they're always wild caught. And then they always sell really fast, and then they're gone again. And like I've actually been trying to find another 3 or 4 just for myself for a personal breeding group, and I don't even care if they're wild caught. I'm gonna treat them for parasites. I'm gonna take them and have them checked out of the vet, but I can't find them anywhere. Every time somebody has them, if you don't buy them like within 10 minutes of them being posted on their website, they're gone. But emerald tree skinks, green tree skinks, they are. I mean, I have a lot of things I say they're my favorite or they're my top 5, but they are literally the funnest freaking lizard in the world to interact with. I mean, you can literally have a group of people in a circle like you see in Clint's video, and they will jump from one person's shoulder to the shoulder of the next, or from one arm to the next person. They will literally, you can open the doors of their enclosure and they will not try to escape and get out unless you walk near their enclosure. Then they'll jump out onto you. I've seen so many reptiles that tolerate handling, and I've seen some species like bearded dragons that once they learn your voice and you're their master, like my bearded dragons will come to me when they have the option of going other places. 99% of reptiles, even if they tolerate handling, if you just step back and become a tree and see what they do, they are going to go away from you. They're going to leave you. Like 99% of them don't actually enjoy you handling them. And so, but green tree skinks, like I won't say they necessarily enjoy you touching them and handling, but interacting with you as a human being, climbing around on you, they love it. Like they thrive on it. They actually go for that interaction. And the fact that I could leave my tree skink enclosure open for like 30-45 minutes and they would not jump out, but if I walked over there, the minute I got within close enough for them to jump, they would jump out onto me. That amazed me. Like that still to this day amazes me. And the fact that when Loki or Clint was on my shoulder, I could walk around my reptile room and do my reptile chores, or check on the animals, and they had every opportunity to jump on the ground and run away. They're super fast when they want to be, but they wouldn't. They would stay on my shoulders and run around up and down on my head for an hour and never try to escape. Like that still blows my mind. Like if you can find them, I can't stress enough how much you should get some emerald tree skinks. They are the coolest freaking lizards in the world, and I cannot wait until I have some more. And now I've seen they have black tree skinks. They're just like the green tree skinks, but they're like jet black. And I'm still doing the research, and if they turn out to be just as personable, then hopefully I'm going to have some black tree skinks. But I am definitely going to be breeding emerald tree skinks as soon as I can find another group that I can get my hands on. If somebody has some this the weekend in Raleigh, they're going home with me if I can get to them first. But anyway, why would anyone? Yep, exactly. And if you guys haven't watched my latest videos, go and check out what's happened to Dingo Dinkelman. Be careful what you post on your YouTube channels. Be careful what pictures you use on your thumbnails. I used a lot of music in my first videos, and I spent days and days going back to take that music out later, or change it, or mute it so that my videos weren't copyright struck. Oh, sorry. But time change messing with me, guys. Time change messing with me. That's what I'm gonna say. But anyway, also, if anybody's in the chat, that is a gamer. I don't think I've talked about this on my channel, but I am a big gamer. I play Xbox One. I do play. I have nieces and nephews that I like to spend a lot of my time with, and unfortunately, because of our schedule, sometimes that time is spent on Xbox Live playing games together. If we can't actually get together, then we'll play online games. And I love playing Fortnite with them. I love playing Call of Duty, Apex Legends. So if anybody out there is a gamer and ever wants to get up and game with me, hit me up. I've actually been on Johan Exotics. He does a gaming. He's got a gaming channel now, and I've been on his live stream playing Fortnite with him a couple times. I actually got a few wins on his live stream, which was pretty cool. But so anybody hit me up on Instagram, dragon underscore whisperer underscore. If you ever want to jump on Fortnite or Apex Legends or Call of Duty or something, and you can always hit me up on Instagram, obviously with any reptile questions. Dragon underscore whisperer underscore. Big shout out to Madam Star, Venom Wonderful, Boy with Gex. Anybody else who's watching that hasn't commented in the chat. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Smash that like button, you guys. And anybody who catches the stream at a later date, we're going to be doing this every Sunday, 9:15, 9:30. 9:15, 9:30, show up with your reptile questions, and let's have some fun. Let's talk about reptiles. Don't forget to go check the USARC website out, you guys. Reach out to your senators. We have to put a stop to this crazy anti-reptile legislation. And go check out Tim's video at Intrepid Exotics if you need to brush up and get your knowledge, seeing what's going on with the local laws here and recent reptile changes to our fish and game and wildlife regulations here in North Carolina. So big shout out to everybody. Now we got 5 watching. Somebody else just joined right before I'm going to jump off. But next Sunday, you guys, be here. Same bat time, same bat channel. And like I always say, and I keep forgetting to say this in all my videos, but there's been some kind of mantras that have really helped me lately in my life, and one of them actually heard from my brother. Big shout out to him. I can't take credit from this one. I heard it from my brother's lips first, but I fell in love with it, and I've tried to tell myself this every single day when I get out of bed or whenever times are going hard. All things are small to a giant. Just remember that. No matter how big something is that's happening to you or how big a situation you think is occurring in your life, just imagine that you are a giant and all things are small to a giant. Be invincible. That's the choice that you make, not a choice other people make for you. Be amazing every day. Be invincible. Live life like you're a T-Rex. I mean, nobody messed with T-Rex because he was the baddest thing around. So be a T-Rex, be invincible. All things are small to a giant. See you guys next Sunday. Same bat channel, same bat time. This is the Dragon Whisperer. I'm out.